Sean Pomerene stood beside his team on the Bering Sea, cool air brushing their faces as they cracked open their cleanout box to see the result of their recent dredging. What they found was jaw-dropping 191.47 ounces of gold, a massive haul worth $380,000. But that staggering number didn't come without risks. The Bering Sea waits for no one. Storms hit fast and machines fail faster. And in this unforgiving environment, one bad call can end a season or worse. This is the story of a bold move, a redesigned mega dredge, and one of the most profitable cleanouts in recent memory. Sean Pomerene had taken a massive risk. He bet big on a newly redesigned dredge known as the Myrtle Iron. Everything depended on whether it could pull in enough gold before the incoming storm forced a shutdown. And for a brief moment, everything clicked. The Myrtle Iron hit promising ground. Material flowed fast through its dual soul boxes, rocks, pebbles, and volume, all pointing to a rich pastry. Confidence surged across the crew. The upgrades were working, and the dream of a massive payout was within reach. But the Bering Sea wasn't done yet. Just as things were beginning to look up, everything changed. With this storm coming in, we got to bring both the Myrtle and the Christine Rose into port, and with the hydraulic pump being down and the bucket stuck to the ground on the Christine Rose, it's a logistical nightmare. A dangerous storm swept in quickly, forcing both the Myrtle Iron and the Christine Rose, Sean's other key vessel, into a high-pressure scramble. They needed to be brought into port and fast. While Myrtle Iron was making headway, Christine Rose was falling apart. Its hydraulic pump had failed. Worse still, its massive bucket was jammed on the seafloor, and unless that bucket could be recovered, the vessel was going to be destroyed in the storm. Christine Rose was dead in the water. Its boom arm was submerged and immobile. It couldn't move unless that arm was lifted back onto the deck, a near impossible task in the middle of an incoming storm. So the team turned to Myrtle Iron. With time ticking down and the storm drawing near, Myrtle Iron's excavator was deployed. In one risky maneuver, it lifted the stuck boom arm and swung it into the deck of Christine Rose. Had they failed, Christine Rose could have been lost entirely, but against the odds they succeeded. The bucket was free, Christine Rose was safe, and the crew breathed a collective sigh of relief. With both vessels safe from the storm, attention turned back to the big question: was the Myrtle's cleanout worth it? She's rescued back in Nome. It was time for the first official cleanout since Myrtle's major redesign. Despite limited dig time, hopes were high. The new pastry had looked promising, and now they'd see if all the investment, engineering, and risk had paid off. The weigh-in began. Ounce after ounce, the numbers climbed. The crew watched closely, breath held as the final numbers locked in. The results stunned them: 191.47 ounces of gold. The Myrtle Iron had pulled in more than $380,000 worth of gold in a short run under intense pressure. It was one of the best cleanouts the crew had ever seen in such a short time frame. Sean and his crew stood in disbelief. The systems had worked. The gold was thick. The performance was exceptional. This wasn't just a good result, it was confirmation that the Myrtle Iron had finally become what Sean always believed it could be: a beast. For Sean Pomerene, this was more than just a payday, it was redemption. The Myrtle Iron had always had potential, but now it was fully realized. With Christine Rose preparing to return to action soon and Myrtle Iron now running at peak performance, the team had momentum like never before, and they had the gold to prove it. While things were looking up for Sean, it was a different story over in town. Chris Kelly and his crew were facing a tense moment of their own. They were preparing for a weigh-in, not for competition or glory, but for survival. They needed to convince their claim owner, Dave, that they were worth keeping on. Without a new deal, they'd have nothing left. One by one, each member of the Kelly crew stepped up for their goal to be weighed. The first team member delivered solid results, giving them hope. Music, 3.5, a 3.6. He's the winner. Then Chris Kelly weighed his own haul. He came close, but fell short of the first total. The final member, Andy, stepped up just enough to edge past the others. Andy's gold weighed highest, securing a personal win. But the goal wasn't to beat each other. It was to secure their place on the claim. They combined their totals for a full cleanout. The total gold came to 9.12 ohms. Under their 60/40ths split agreement, the claim owner Dave got 5.7 ohms, while the Kelly crew took home 3.8 ohms, about $8,000. Dave, who hadn't even left his boat, earned over $11,000 from their hard work. On paper, it was a decent day, but for Chris, it wasn't about numbers, it was about securing their future. He hoped this cleanout would be enough to strike a new deal with Dave. Chris approached Dave hopeful and ready to negotiate. "So what's the plan after this? Do you think we can make a deal?" But Dave had already made up his mind. "The plan's over. I got to get all your crap off my boat." It's over. Just like that, the partnership ended. No warning, no discussion. The Kelly crew was stunned. After delivering real gold and proving the claim's potential, they were kicked off. With the season nearing its end, they were left without a claim, a deal, or a future. Chris tried one last time. He asked if they could just get one more run in before the season ended, but Dave wasn't budging. His decision was final now. The crew had nothing left to do but pack up and leave. The season was slipping away, and every day without mining was a day lost. Despite their hard work and results, they were back at square one. It's a tough thing to swallow. At this point, I have no idea what we're going to do. On one side of known Pomrenke, newly upgraded mega dredge, had delivered an incredible payday, 191 ounces, $380,000 in value. It was the kind of result gold miners dream of. On the other, the Kellys, despite solid effort and a decent haul, were shut out of the game. It was a brutal reminder. In the Bering Sea, one breakthrough can make a season, one rejection can end it. For Sean, Myrtle Irene's cleanout was a turning point. After months of planning and investment, the results validated everything. The dredge that once fell short was now outperforming even the Christine Rose. This is just what the doctor ordered: big numbers, peak efficiency, huge momentum. If Christine Rose came back online and Myrtle Irene kept running like this, the possibilities were endless. With 191 ounces pulled in a high-pressure, short time frame, the Myrtle Irene proved its value, and it sent a message to every competitor in Nome. In gold diving, efficiency, timing, and the right equipment matter more than ever. It's not always about experience, it's about who shows up ready. For the Kellys, the experience was sobering. Even a good haul couldn't save them from the harsh politics of gold mining. It's not just about gold, it's about trust, control, and ownership. They delivered results, but in the end they had no claim to stand on. Pomrenke's decision to revamp the Myrtle Irene wasn't just about chasing profit, it was about restoring faith in a vessel. Many had written off the Myrtle Irene, had once been a symbol of potential but never quite delivered. Now, it stood as a reminder of what can happen when a miner doubles down on a vision. That haul, 191.47, wasn't just metal in a box, it was the outcome of sleepless nights, calculated engineering, and gut instinct. And it set a new standard for what was possible in the Bering Sea. Sean's ability to think on his feet during the storm, to use the Myrtle Irene to rescue Christine Rose, proved that leadership wasn't just about digging, it was about decision-making under pressure. In the world of gold diving, that kind of clarity can mean the difference between fortune and failure. While others scrambled for deals, Sean built machines that delivered. While others hoped to hold on to claims, he took control of his future. And now, as the season edges toward its final days, one thing is certain: Sean Pomrenke didn't just strike gold, he reclaimed dominance in one of the harshest, most competitive waters on Earth. As the season pushed forward, Sean's team was in the perfect position to dominate. Myrtle Irene was strong, Christine Rose was almost back, and the gold was flowing. If the weather held, they could end the season on top. But for the others, there are no guarantees in the Bering Sea. Only risk, only reward, and sometimes only loss.